I wasn't sure if I wanted to finish making this video. A lot of people seem to like this cinematic trailer, saying it looks amazing and all that, but I just don't see it. I've watched it a bunch of times and I'm really still not sold. So I'm gonna break down why it didn't work for me, and maybe it might be why it rubbed you the wrong way as well. Also, it came out a few days ago and nobody's even talking about it anymore. How am I gonna make that big YouTube monies with this? Plus, I need to know if rainbow everything everywhere is what the kids are into these days. After I wrote my first draft, I found out that the trailer was directed by the same person behind the Spider-Verse. And it makes sense because these movies were fun and action-packed, but they really gave me a huge headache because of all the colors. Is visual overstimulation the in thing now? No, I will give it this. The visual tones are very strong. Unlike Concord, which was flatter than Zendaya's chest, setting it in black and white actually gives it some visual weight and contrast, using it to tell the audience to focus on the subject matter. But that's about where the positives stop for me. Let's start with the composition. Almost every shot is dead center, like 95% of them. Even when two characters are talking, it's still centered. It's like the trailer is screaming, "Hey, look here, focus on this one thing," over and over again. It gets old real fast. Then there's the way the characters exist in the world. They show this realistic lived-in environment, water, mud, dust, but none of it affects the characters at all. You just see Void dive through the water, roll around on the ground, and he comes out spotless. Not a scratch, not a speck. I get it if he's a robot with some high-tech anti-dust suit, but even the fabric parts, his pouches, still squeaky clean after getting shot. It just feels like someone forgot to swap the textures. If you just want that clean aesthetic, then maybe don't show them in a gritty, realistic environment. It just looks cheap. The characters are just uninspiring, over-designed, and somehow still looks generic. Look at Blackbird and Locust. They've got nearly identical silhouettes, just different colors. Honestly, if you told me one was a skin for the other, I'd believe you. Same with Void and Glitch. They basically had the same shape, the same eyes, just black and white. It feels like they reused the same basic model for everyone. Slap on a bunch of accessories and call it a day. Which brings me to the rapid-fire critique portion of this rant. Because I'm already going to hell for nitpicking, might as well go all in. Locust. He's the tank brute character, but he hardly looks the part. Can't you just make him more thick? Glitch. Why does she have an X over her mouth? Are we telling women to be quiet now? How could you? Also, this is all I see. Void. QR code man. Looks like someone smashed Stanley from Dr. Stone with Popstat from Hero Academia Vigilante. Actually, I'm insulting Popstat fans by making this comparison. Also, what the fuck is this? Blackbird. Just meh. So meh, I can't even make fun of it, which somehow makes it worse. Having more elements doesn't make the design better. Maybe they were really trying to get across that it's an extraction shooter and everyone needs pouches everywhere. But why? It's a game. It doesn't need to be represented so literally. Just focus on adding personality. You want to see character designs done right? Look at these examples. Obviously, she's gonna have snow powers with the blues and the whites and the snowflake necklace and trinket. And the crescent-shaped belt is a nice touch because her name is Luna. This character shows he's not afraid of exposing his body and getting hurt, but covers his face, implying there's a secret there. And you find out it's because he's a vampire. This character has a laissez-faire attitude, with his sleeve slipping off. That's a sharpshooter who doesn't give a fuck, cause who goes around with no shoes? Even if you don't agree with these over-designed characters, other than maybe Void, you can't really tell what they do at first glance. And for the inevitable comment that comes, they're robots. They don't need to follow visual stereotypes. It's because they are robots that you can go wild. You don't even need to tie it to human anatomy. Why even make them bipedal? Why stick to human silhouettes? You can do something really out of this world, like any of these examples. But I can guess with a high degree of certainty that the devs here are going for efficiency. One base model, tons of shared animations, and minimal design work. Which is smart for production, sure, I'll give you that. But this is a class-based game. You need instant visual clarity. When I see a character, I should immediately know what they're all about. And finally, the whole Ozymandias poem, the classical music, it just comes off as really pretentious. Compare it to the first teaser trailer, which had this cool, pulsing synth beat that actually fits the aesthetic and got you hyped. That felt right. That really fit. This feels like they were trying way too hard to sound deep. The whole thing feels like spectacle without substance. But hey, the game's still 5 months out. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe it'll find the audience that it needs and be super successful. Let's see how well this video ages. So, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, does this speak to you? Is this the vibe now? I genuinely need to know that I haven't become a total boomer.
Hey light you up.